All right, we are officially live, 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 live. Let's see. Let's make sure and check the feed. Yup. Hey everybody, what's going on? What's going on? It is what, Thursday, February 3rd, and this is the third 30 interviews in 30 days. And today, this is you're one of the first people I didn't know prior to any interview. So this is gonna be really interesting. Today, 30 interviews in 30 days, celebrating Black History Month, Black culture, Black excellence, and also Urban X-pressions, who is 30 years old, the longest running video show in Philadelphia broadcast history. Anyway, so why not have music, talking about music. So Mr. KK ROSEMOND, then am I saying it right? I know it's KK. Say the ending. Tell your last name.
ROSEMOND, ROSEMOND.
Sometimes we say proper. I didn't want to sound too proper.
ROSEMOND. Yeah, ROSEMOND.
ROSEMOND. Mm-hmm. You are an extraordinary. I mean, I read through everything. I read all of your interviews and your bio. So tell everybody what you do. I know you do incredible things, but introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do.
Well, I'm KK ROSEMOND. I am the owner of RMG, which is ROSEMOND Music Group, which is distributed through Sony and Orchard. I also A&R for Erykah Badu, Chico DeBarge. I manage Chico, done some stuff with AZ, Lil Wayne, 702, R&B singer Joe, Temptations, India Irie, Granique, and that's just Jim Jones, Cameron, and Vado, Elmo at 60, the Phil Harmonica, and every Erykah Badu album to date.
And every Erykah Badu album to date. That is amazing. So
there's somebody in there. I forgot. Raekwon from Wu-Tang, Lil Wayne, Nas thing.
Your resume is not impressive. Your resume is definitely impressive. You've done a lot of things. So how did you get started in the music business, and what did you want to be when you grow up, and are you doing it?
Mm-hmm. Well, I started, my uncle actually had a management company. It was called Akbar Management, but they were also henchmen or something like that. They housed like Groove Theory, Little Sean, Sweet Tea, which was Sugar at the time, and a bunch of other things. Like we did a bunch of that stuff. He had like an office in the city, and I interned over there at first. That's how I first started. I was like in the studio. I was around Jazzo, Beehive, Memphis Bleak, a bunch of those people, and I kind of made friends. And since I was so young, was kind of still like molding and learning instruments and playing and trying to decide which side I'm going to be on, whether it was the artist side, whether it was the A&R side, the management side. And I kind of fell into the management side. Like I actually wanted to know what was happening and how the wheels went round. So Jimmy Henchman actually, or James ROSEMOND, gave me my first shot. Shout out to him. Then the second opportunity, I got a chance to meet a gentleman by the name of Kedar Massenberg. Shout out Kedar. He had Kedar Entertainment, and he gave me my first job. At that time, Kedar Entertainment was distributed by Universal, which led me to the Erykahs, which led me to the Chicos, and then it went on from there. It wasn't an easy journey, but I literally, I did do an internship. I did, go
so you
out
paid
to
your dues. I mean, I think you need to make sure people know that. I mean, you glossed over it a little bit about, your uncle, and you're saying shout out to Jimmy Henchman, but really most people would think, oh, because you knew somebody and that's your uncle, he was in the inside, that you would have just gotten in. But basically, you paid your dues.
Yeah. Well, again, like I said, that's where I started. Like they had the office. Him and Mario had the office, and we'd go there. Just again, high school kids go there after school, hang out at the studio was the cool thing to do then. So we did a lot of that stuff. But for the most part, like, we were just fascinated. It was like real music then. Like you actually needed to know how to do something, play something, bring something to the table, produce something. It wasn't like the 30 guy entourage and stuff like that. It was just like actually like legitimately like the music industry.
Yeah, so you said something about you were into music yourself and you were playing instruments.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the instruments you were playing? And right now, do you feel that one day you'll go back to maybe one day being an artist? Just asking,
Well, the instruments are like pianos. That's always hanging around the studio, and as you can see, there's always like a guitar and stuff like that. So I tool around and that type of stuff. But I do create, like I make music. Sometimes some people know it's me, sometimes it's not, but more for like film and score stuff, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, like again, regular music, and I think, besides like the mainstream artists like the Badus and the Summer Walkers and that type of stuff, main Tiana Taylor, those people, like for the most part, like around here, like, I don't want to insult anybody, but the regular tier of artists, like, it's kind of like slow right now because the transition between what's happening in the world it's different. So I say that to say this, like, I think most people are jumping into digital spaces with their music and doing NFTs and blockchain and that type of stuff. Shout out blockchain and ways and stuff like that. But for the most part, if you honestly think about it, like, for you to get to where how it used to be, like, you got to dump tons of money into this thing. So what I kind of do is we create and we license music all over the place, and you still give the music life. You still place the music, and it's just, you're not like sitting on like a ton of a library of stuff. So that was another thing with this RMG thing that I got going on. I wanted to actually give a shot to some of those artists that don't normally get a chance to do what they're supposed to do musically, and I think it's great because, again, nobody can tell me no right now.
Hey, nobody can tell you no because you're the boss.
Hey.
That's an amazing thing, because I'm definitely down with the whole independent thing. I had opportunities to go mainstream with TV and radio, but I like the independent side. But let's talk about the management part of the whole RMG thing. Mm-hmm. When it comes to management, we were talking about that with an organization I was working with. When it comes to management, a lot of people don't know how to choose their management, or they don't know what to look for when it comes to management. Can you break down you as a manager in your desire to be a manager? Because that's something I've never wanted to do, but I've been asked. But what are some things you should look for, or people should look for, when it comes to management?
Well, one, your manager is not infinite bank. Like, you can't go to your manager and be like, oh, listen, my messed up a lot of money, at the gambling spot, and I need you guys to like take care of it. Like, that's not a manager's job. Manager's job is not to get up 15 o'clock in the morning and go to like Popeyes and get you a bucket of chicken or any of those things. A good manager is always going to put your best interest first, lead you to the correct opportunities that you need to be to. And a lot of those opportunities come with relationships, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So if you have a good manager and he has outstanding relationships, a bunch of opportunities that he brings to the table may work for you. So I think in choosing a manager or just being a manager, you have to not only, number one, because I've told people like, yo, listen, I don't want to hurt, hinder, or impede your career at all. If I can't do anything for you, I'm going to listen to it. If I throw a couple sticks at it and nothing bounces back, then hey, let's do something different. But for the most part, if you're vested in there, you go above and beyond. You shop it, you run around with it, you try and place it, and it isn't something that happens overnight, like, at all. Zero. You can't be on your manager like, yo, I need a record deal right now. Can't go back to this job tomorrow. I need it. Doesn't work like that. Sometimes you actually got to take your time and actually put the things together, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. That's the same part of paying your dues, man. You can't. no, it's not coming overnight. You got to work for it. Nothing easy work. You got to work for it. So management in general. Now, I think I read something about you're saying that you can still walk people into labels, but you prefer not to, or are you still working with labels if it's necessary?
Well, yeah, definitely. The labels are always necessary. They bring us our mainstream artists. What that statement, what I made was, it wasn't that I wasn't bringing anyone else into the labels. I just got tired of, finding a dope artist, and going over to said label head and saying, "Hey, listen, what about this?" And they're like, "Oh, what are the views like? What is it doing over on Spotify? What are the numbers over here?" And at that juncture, it was just like, I'd rather, I put it out myself. Because, a lot of people don't know this, but I was one of the few and first people that bring Drake to New York as an artist. Like, they only knew him as the kid from Degrassi. Like, I was one of the first A&R people, and they still told me no on Drake. They said no. They said they didn't like the music or whatever, and look at him now. But again, with that being said and done, like, I just got tired of, the normal people saying like, no, go get it hot first, or, go do this with the record, or go take it over to Rap Caviar, do this or do that. Now, you know what? I like it. I'm going to put it out myself.
So what are some of your strategies for breaking an artist independently? Because, there's a lot of independent artists out here, and, some are just putting out money after money after money, and then it's not hitting the fan. It's just, they're just on a spinning wheel. So what are some of your strategies that you use?
Well, I'm new at this, honestly. Like, my whole entire career, I've been at labels from, I started at 19, like I said, with Kedar Entertainment, interned with my uncle's them, but from 19 all the way up until now, it's been a different label, except for Control Freak with Erykah. But for the most part, it's been Universal, Motown. Then I went over to E1 for a while. But my strategy is really this: is actually, get the record out there, get it into the right people's hands. A bunch of the playlists, I know they say, oh, you gotta go to the playlist. A bunch of them aren't bad. You land on the right playlist, you get the right looks or the right audience that you need. So I rock the playlist. I make sure I do me personally, along with my artists as well. They make sure that they outside, they're doing interviews, they're waving the flag consistently. We beat up social media all the time. There's 100 billion hashtags out there. So we make ourselves very aware and known to everyone. Like, I'm actually happy that you guys invited me on this platform because it gives me a time to actually, talk and kind of tell you guys what we're doing and how we're doing it. So this is dope for me.
Well, I appreciate it. Listen, when you and Vaughn brought it to me, I was like, yes. I was reading. I was like, oh, wait a minute, I'm reading everything. I'm going all through everything and just reading. I'm like, wow, amazing. And even with part of it, I mean, Grammys. You got to tell me about the Grammys and some of the accolades. I mean, you tell these things. Some people, say, I don't want to brag, and I understand on the humility. But sometimes it opens doors for people to say, oh, yeah, well, Rod, what?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm messing with you because you did it. You know what I mean? So talk
Yeah.
about some of that just for the people. Just for the
Well, 5-time Grammy nominated, BET award winner, 30 million sold worldwide, and that's physical copies, not digital copies. There's a total difference, because a lot of people like to get that, well, 30 million, sold worldwide, I have 30 billion streams. Yeah, the people that bought my records wouldn't stood online to buy it outside of Virgin Megastore and droves and in snow and stuff like that. It wasn't a click of a button, and then I don't like it from a click. If you were interested in the artist, when we did have real record stores and stuff like that, you actually legitimately went to the store instead of online and stuff like that. So that was some of the things that I actually miss about the game and opposed to it.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Don't you miss it? When we did the TV show, we were at a record store all the time. It was like they had a whole record store coalition. It was called The Firm out here. It's like,
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Nothing
yes.
like it.
There's nothing like it. Nothing like it. And that's what makes it a little bit sometimes, even for the execs, they only sign things that have numbers now. before, if you remember correctly, the A&R guy or a manager would come to you and say, hey, I got this demo. Then you get the demo and the guy listen to it and bop his head and you say, yeah, man, this is good. Where's this kid from? And you say, oh, from Louisiana, okay, or Atlanta, or Chicago, or whatever. And you get on a flight, you fly down, you cut a demo, maybe a record or something like that. And you come back to the label and you present it to the president and say, hey, listen, I found something crazy and this kid is the next it. And they're like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Let's give it a shot. And they actually legitimately had to get in there and work a record and do what they had to do for a record. But, these guys are like, listen, they got 1 million followers on Instagram, so he has to be hot. Let's just sign it up.
Let's just sign it up because it takes away some of the work on their end, the work to get them hot, the work to get it out there, maybe even some of the budget, because back in the day used to be a lot of advertising. Let's call it advertising. A lot of advertising.
It's called branding now.
Yeah, it's called branding now. They did a lot of advertising to get the artists out there. But yes, oh my gosh, not too many people can go back down and say, yeah, record stores and being out there with the street teams, doing what you gotta do and really pounding the pave to get the artists out there. So what are some of your artists that you are pushing right now?
Kodazzy. Shout out Kodazzy. And she just different. Like for her, it was refreshing to actually hear such a young lady pour her heart and soul into records. We got a record coming out called Proper with her. There's T Rose. T Rose has a Ruger record coming out. There is Red Light. Red Light is an alternative artist. Knox, P. Soul, like Vito Gats. DJ JS, which is gonna be starting on Hot 97 soon. Oops, I wasn't supposed to say that, but yeah, he's going.
We got the exclusive.
Yeah, listen, even with the artist roster, like Vernique is up here with I See You Looking. Donna, we got a Loving You record produced by myself and P Soul. Like, it's a beautiful time. Like, I'm just enjoying creating right now. And that, again, and this very deeply. Like sometimes, like we get lost in the business and we forget about the creativity or the process in creating, and we got to brand a record and we have to do this and marketing and all these other different things. And it's like, if you take away from the artistry and the music, that's why we miss a lot of the dope artists that are out here now chasing, a waterfall, like they used to say. You're chasing a waterfall, you're running around and you're looking for the next new hot, whatever it is. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you're not going to find it. You're looking for what everybody else is looking for, like back in the day. And I say this because I grew up in an era where there was no biting, like there was no, or what that is, I just aged myself, but there was no jacking or stealing or whatever. Like somebody will take your record right now and recut it and have more numbers than you on your own record. And that's just how it works. Like we was like, all right, we'll bet, these guys over here making this type of record, we're going to, combat that. We're going to make this type. So, we're the anti of that. Not, we need to make the same exact record quickly.
So we can, or we're going to sign somebody similar and sit them on a little shelf there. No.
Yeah, I remember they was telling me, they was like, oh man, Chris Brown is super awesome. He's super dope. We don't have anybody like that on the label, like a Chris Brown. Could you go find us a Chris Brown? And I said, no, Chris Brown already exists. How do you want me to go find a Chris Brown? And he already exists. I'm not trying to compete with Chris Brown. Let that man live in his lane.
But that's not how it really works, though, right? So how do you get around that? So who do you give them to satisfy that? Who do you give them?
Well, you got to give them somebody. You got to do your numbers, right? So it's usually like you find something that they like and they agree to, and you sign that and work that because it's ultimately a job. And then you bring them something that you like or that you really want them to go hard on. So it's like an even trade, I think, sometimes for me. Like that's what I like to do. I'd like to, all right, since I got to do this one, turn around and get, can I get this one in there? So like, and then it usually happens. So it works out.
How did you manage everything during the pandemic? It's a great time. You're not with the labels, but you're an entrepreneur. You're like you're a business owner, and during that time we couldn't go do shows. You couldn't go out and do anything. So how did you manage that? How did the artist manage?
Well, for there's a couple of the people, like, we still had to figure it out. We got to create, and that's why relationships are key, because then you tap into some of the people that you're around. Hey, listen, is there any licensing opportunities? Hey, Nicole Sanzio over at Indigo Music, how do we get this thing happening, and how do we do this, or how do we do that, or is there any other opportunities? Because again, for a very long time, like within the first 6 months, we were all like, it's chilly out here,
Mm-hmm.
and it really was. Again, we're not the richest, and I don't have Diddy money or anything like that, but for the
You don't
most
have
part,
it yet? Yeah, it's coming.
yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell any secrets. Yeah. But with that being said and done, I basically didn't really go through anything crazy, but it was just like basically keeping everybody calm and saying, like, look, we're all spiritual people. Like, yo, the Most High is gonna work it out. Let's try and keep our nose clean. We always did good business. These people have reached back out to us, and I'm expert at shaking hands and kissing babies. I'm like a politician here. Hey man, how are you? Blah 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 blah. Yo, listen, you need this? Oh yeah, we got the remix for this. You need this? Hey, listen, that's the 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's this. It might as well just be rude, but ultimately, like, it's worth it. Yeah, it's worth it, because I like being able to create. If that makes sense. Like, I feel most happiest creating. Like, I think music is the soundtrack to most of our lives, but music was my savior. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. But
for me,
music is your savior. But was there ever anything else you wanted to do besides music?
Art. I'm an excellent cartoon illustrator. That's what I used to do. I went to high school of art and design. Graduated from there, and then from there, I went off to do, Miami-Dade University, doing English lit, because I needed to know what the guys were doing when they were painting and all of this and all that. And after a while, it was just like, man, like, this is boring. Like, I want to go back to the studio, man. And, ultimately, that's what it was for me. Like, I was like, yo, I like, going to the hustle. Like, oh, you got to get the mix, you got to get the master, you got to take it over here, you got to clear it. You got to turn in a label copy, and then ultimately the finished product, like an actual piece of tangible material in your hand, whether it had been at that time a CD, whether it had been a piece of vinyl, whatever it was. Like, I'm not old enough to know what an 8-track or any of that type of stuff was, but I hear stories. Back in the day, we used to have 8-tracks. So yeah, granddad.
But that's what we're gonna say. Back in the day, we used to have CDs and we used to have vinyl. Back in the day, we're gonna be that, because back in the day, we did have some vinyl, we did have some CDs everywhere.
Yes, the one thing, this was really funny. My daughter, she came in and I gave her a tape, like an actual tape you put in the thing. I said, look at this, baby, look at it. And she said, okay, Daddy, this is confusing. She's looking around and she turns the tape around and she starts looking for the headphone jack to put into the tape. And I said, there's no headphone jack. And she's like, well, then how do you guys get this stupid thing to work? And it's like, there was a whole device. You put a tape in, you pushed it in, you press play, and it was a rewind button. It took a little time, and that was it. And she was like, yeah, I'm over this. And she gave it back and left. But the point being is, yeah, it's going to be a time where somebody's going to be like, what is a CD? What is a compact disc? What is it?
What is it? It's funny. I would show you, but right behind me is an old-fashioned CD player and with a cassette. Right behind me, right? Little stereo. I'm going to keep it.
That part. Sometimes it creates that sound that you actually miss. Like, I miss the sound of crackling vinyl and stuff like that. So, and made the record feel rich to me, if that makes sense.
It does. It definitely does. Absolutely. We will never. I'm sorry. I'm glad they made a comeback. Remember the moment when they made a comeback and everything that was on vinyl was triple or quadruple the price, and people were really coming up off them if you still had some. You got a couple laying around. I know you still have some.
Of course, me personally, yes, of course I have vinyl hanging around. That's actually vinyl is like for regular back in the day, we used to pay like, $5-10 for a piece of vinyl. You can actually find a piece of vinyl in a vintage record store right now for like $40. Like vinyl is up right now because it's so retro, even if a lot of DJs, they don't do anything with it, they just taking it for the art, which is pretty cool too. So that tells me that there's a piece that's missing, if that makes sense. Like the people are still missing the nostalgia of actually touching the records,
Yeah, I mean, I guess because you remember that it was like a phase where 90s came back with a vengeance and everything was, 90s inspired. And I think it just started a wave with everything. Everything is just inspired by the form of the classic. I'm gonna call it classic. Can't always to make sure it's classic, not old school. As old as it goes away, but classic stays around forever. So it's classic.
Yes.
So I'm telling you, I just love the whole being able to reminisce over the music business as it used to be, because it was a great thing. It was definitely a great thing. So as an A&R, right? Anybody out there, what do you actually look for? I know you look for something different in everybody, but what do you actually look for?
Well, my thing is really this is uniqueness. And again, like there's some people that are out here that's super, super dope and talented, and the humility that comes with them is beautiful. And they're not jerks and they're not overly aggressive and stuff like that. So if you come to me and you say, hey man, I got this demo I'd like you to take a listen to, and thank you for giving me your time. I don't want too much, blah, blah, blah. What I'm going to say is, wow, that brother actually took the time to find me, politely, impede upon my day, but I didn't mind, but politely give me whatever this is. And, he stepped off and he was classy about it. That's the type of stuff that make me look at the artist and really take a listen. I meet 100 people a day saying, hey, listen to this. I got the new hot dopest and this is me and I'm hot fire and I'm the next everything. You know how many times I hear that every single day? And sometimes I'm ever so disappointed because you don't really have the new hot fire or any of that. So again, I look at, humility, like, a lot of stuff. Again, like music, and I say this, God is the savior of my life, but again, music actually saved, me. It took me out of the hood. It gave me something else to look forward to. I wasn't staying on the block, hanging out and stuff like that. It just gave me an opportunity to do what I needed to do and be creative, or as creative as possible at that time and era where so many, again, too, just like today, bad things have happened. I just feel like we channeled, instead of we was on the block and it was, a bunch of us running around doing whatever. Instead of us hanging out, doing whatever, like we would run into the studio and go sit in there for hours and play spades and video games and meet new different people, that type of stuff. And it was like the 90s, I grew up in the 90s, but it was like the heart of the 90s, and it was good. It was Biggie Smalls, it was Tupac, it was Digital Underground, it was, Jay-Z, it was Razzcast, it was, Redman, a lot of the classic stuff. And it was like, not one of these people that I just named ever sound the same. Like they all had their own style, their own everything. So that's kind of what I look for. I look for like the next superstar. If I can walk into the room and I've never met you before and you're shining and it's making me like, wow, who is that? I need to find out who that is. They have the magic, and that's what it is. Because every superstar person that's supposed to be where they at, they have the magic. And most of them are so humble. Oh, I don't want to, I don't need to book much. Okay, I just want to play music. And I think that's dope too. If you love the music more than you love the fame, that's awesome. So I look for a lot of that.
It's awesome. I didn't know you. I don't. You meet some now independently, but it was a time where maybe didn't. But the '90s were an amazing time. There were stars everywhere. It wasn't just like a handful of stars. It was a lot of them. It wasn't like, oh, we're just gonna call in every music show or award show will have the same right now has like the same 5. We're gonna go down the line. Doja Cat. We're gonna have Megan. We're gonna have they had the same
The
one.
Migos. We have the Migos. We'll have, you know, Rich Homie Quan, or not Rich Homie Quan, Rich the Kid, and this guy. I'm a fan of everybody's music, but after a while it just starts looking the same exact over again. And shout out to those people.
Because they're not building other stars. It's like it was a label, almost like a label on every corner. So everybody had a star, so you were able to promote a whole lot of people. So that's what we gotta do. Continue to keep making stars. I know you are a busy person. So tell everybody where they can find you and find your artists.
Well, we are RMG again. Once again, that is ROSEMOND Music Group. We are distributed through Orchard, Sony. We're working on refreshing the website right now, but it's usually rosemondmusicgroup.com. You can find us everywhere from Industry Fix Magazine. We're on every major platform, whether that be Spotify, whether that be TikTok, anything. You can find us Amazon Prime. Our music is available. And I think just for us, we've been doing so many different things, whether it meant film and television. We're doing a transition into the film stuff. And we just like, again, what my job here is to do this, is to bring you guys the next superstars and the next fresh faces. And I think I got that with Red Light, with Code Azzy, with Tommy, with Megaverse, Pick 5, Knox, P Soul. Like, and I'm just so excited and happy, like, in all honesty, and I feel like I'm in love again, if that makes sense.
Yes, you know? In love with the music again. I know. Yes. I do indeed. Living through the 90s and having a video show, I understand that, you know, there was a moment, you know, it's 30 years, but there was a moment where I think it was 2013. I was like, I can't do this music no more. I can't do this. It's not where I'm going.
I couldn't, you know what the thing was when it was for me, it was like, all right, so I bring you guys Drake, I bring you guys Jay Electronica, you found Jay Electronica, I bring you guys this, that, and third, and you guys basically all said no, right? And all of these guys are major fixtures in the music industry. And then I run into like one of the cats, I forget which one it was, not Doja Cat, but we was looking for, we also do, I'm a partner with, shout out to Didi the Great. I'm a partner with Zab Judah and Didi over at Celebrity Championship Boxing. Like, so we figured out a way, you know, also to gloves up, gloves off, guns down, or gloves up, guns down, whatever. We decided to like put, you know, artists in there. We pay them the money. It's on pay-per-view. You go in there, you box it out, you get your little purse, and, you know, do your thing. You know, do a thing. And one of the dolls or something like that, I forget what the lady's name was. And I'm thankful that I don't remember, because I would say it right now. I don't care. And she was like, oh my God, KK, you sold 30 million records. Blah, 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 blah. And, you know, then she said, hold on a second. And put me on hold. Oh, wait. And I said, wow. So she actually knew who I was. I don't actually, whatever. You said 30 million records sold worldwide. She clicked back over and she said, well, I had 30 billion streams. And I said, wow, that's different. And she was like, yeah, that's, you know, that's more. And I was like, it's not. You see what I'm saying? $15 per CD, or $19 at the time, or whatever we pay for it, is worth way more than your one click. And that's me breaking it all the way down, like from royalties, marketing, mechanics, all the pieces, the artwork and everything. Like right now, you remember correctly, we used to run to the artwork and look at the artwork and be like, oh, I wonder what's on here. And that's what made it so exciting. Yes. And that's what I feel like right now, like with the group of people that are under me right now, I feel like the young kid running to the actual store to get the CD and open it and look at it and listen to the music, and ooh, this is new and fresh, and this is actually really good. You know, that's what I feel like right now. And I want to shout out everybody that's over there, everyone that's a part. DJ Boogie Black, the guys that actually Knox, you know, P Soul that's in here in the trenches with me every day. You know, Mario Rosemond, James, who's going to be home soon. You know, welcome home. Little James, or and those type of people. Everyone that's coming around here, they're contributing, they're helping, they're listening, and it feels like I made a post. I put something up on Instagram the other day, and it said, "We don't need to eat at y'all table. We're building our own table."
Ooh.
We don't need your table. We made our own. Y'all won't let us in. Guess what? We build our own table. We fix our own plates. We gonna eat anyway. Bang.
Dropping the mic. Boom.
So we working on ROSEMOND films, and we got a bunch of things over there. Zab Judah documentary, a Zopound documentary, a Jazz-O documentary. We got a couple things happening. So, again, too, one of the other things too is content is king. So we're just trying to make sure that, for 2022 and beyond, that we're just in your face. Boom. With good music.
Come on over here. Make sure you keep us in the loop. Yes. We are here. This is what we do. This is our content. This is how we do. Been doing media forever. So whenever you have something, just like back in the day, I got them breaking a new artist. I'm gonna bring them to town. But now you don't have to bring them to town. You can bring them to the screen.
Hey, you know what? I would, in all honesty, I think this platform too, doing this COVID thing.
Not sure what happened. Anyway, so we're still here. This is 30 interviews in 30 days. That was KK ROSEMOND. And he just was dropping the whole music industry. His accolades are amazing. I'm sure he just lost connection, but hey, that was such an amazing interview to know somebody who is just continuing to grind. And I believe in the independent. Let's continue to be independent, doing our things. It is room out here for everyone to make money, and that's how you do it. You just continue to grind out, believe in your talent, and just move. Don't let nobody stop you. Don't let nobody stop you. If you have an artistry and you want to get it out there, don't let anybody stop you. We got some great things coming up for artists. What is it? Music Artist University is coming up. So if you are an artist and you want to learn some stuff and you want to learn really how to do it, take away all the things that you got. Oh, I gotta learn this. I gotta learn this. Instead of learning the hard way, you learn the easy way. We have some courses coming up really soon. Rockstar P, Suzanne Christine will tell you more about it. So talking to people who have actually been in the business and understand the business is amazing. Not sure if he's coming back, so I'm going to just go ahead and sign off. But 30 interviews in 30 days. Today was day 3. Tomorrow is Friday. We have another interview coming to you right here on Facebook Live, and I'm just recording it on Instagram because this way, let me just give you a little media and why I do it. I repurpose queen. What I do is I teach you on repurposing. So the reason why we would do it on, I know Facebook is not the one that everybody is on, but when you do it on Zoom, when it broadcasts to Facebook and YouTube, it allows you to have content in different areas. Now I have to use my phone to do Instagram, but the fact that it's in different areas, it's able to repurpose in different areas, which helps the whole broadcast. So that is why we do Facebook Live, and then I can also take it and put this on television as well. So if I have a recording, it'll be put on television as well. Shout out to Philly Cam. So I take these recordings and I put on television. You can't put an IG feed on television, so I have to make sure I have it this way. This is just a little media knowledge, because that's what I do. I'm a media consultant, and I tell you all about media, and I remember the music days, and we're gonna bring you some more music. So, I'm going to stay for a second just in case, that I'm not gonna keep talking. I'm not gonna keep talking to you, but it says it's coming back in. Not sure what happened. Okay, his phone died, but no, not a problem. But I'm just gonna keep talking. 30 years for 30 years for Urban Expressions. Are you excited? I'm excited. I'm excited that I was able to start. I didn't start exactly 30 years ago, but I was there. I was there, and I was on a fence like, hey, what is this show? But I was definitely there. And I was a youngin', and I started out as an intern with Urban Expressions, and then just worked my way up and executive producer. So shout out to Ed Box Brunson, who is the founder of Urban Expressions. You know we're going to do an interview with Ed Box. You know. We're going to have Urban Expressions on here because it's 30 years for Urban Expressions, and it took more than just me to make it happen. So okay, what's going on? You know I don't have no glasses on, I'm acting fake like I see, but yeah, so 30 years for Urban Expressions. I'm excited. 30 interviews in 30 days because I'm celebrating the whole 30, the whole 30. Hey, 30. It's 30 years of doing something. It was like my child. Urban Expressions is my child. I wore it on my back. I did everything. It's like it's my child, it's my baby. And so to make it to a point where people still remember Urban Expressions, people still talk about it, and the legacy lives on because we did it. We were on the air for so long, really putting people on before we put people on before you even before their fame. So you know when Jay-Z was coming up, when he first got Ain't No Black One I Got, that was we started out. We watched his whole career. We were in the beginning. And not too many people can say that. Not too many can say that at all. I'm gonna keep talking until maybe he comes back. Phone died, phone is charging. But that was KK ROSEMOND, and he's talking about the music business. The music business. There's a lot of artists out there, and when you come down to the music business, you need to hear what they have to say, hear how they made it. I know you're saying something. You remember? Oh, you remember in them streets? We was always in the streets. I think that's what you're saying. I'm not gonna sit here and fake it like I can sing. So, yeah, remember you was in them streets. Yeah, we did this. I'm telling you, Urban Expressions was everywhere, every club, every party, every event. We were everywhere. It was my life for many, 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 many years. I'm just now I just want to go on the island and go to a vacation. I didn't even take vacations back then. It was all about working and making sure we highlighted people, music. We were everywhere. So shout out to everybody who came up underneath who grew up on Urban Expressions. We have some great announcements coming. If you have anything you want to add, if you have any old Urban Expressions footage that like you recorded it, you took your listen, we're going back in the day. So if you recorded it with your VCR and you have some old Urban Expressions footage, let us know. Let us know what you have. Because we want to see it. We want to see that old Urban Expressions footage. Hey, you're on mute. But so if you have some Urban Expressions footage and it's something you were watching back in the day, because like I said, we're celebrating 30 years. What's going on?
What's going on? You got me back?
I did. I wasn't know whether you were coming back or not, but I was just like, I'm gonna just talk just in case. I did a whole lot of talk. I was a talking head for a minute.
That is excellent. My devices are dying here. I've been running around all day long, crazy busy, but I definitely, before it cuts you off, I definitely wanted to say thank you for having me. I don't even know what I'm center anymore. I'm just trying to get everything charged. Just wanted to say thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys for having me on, letting me express and talk to you guys about RMG, baby. I definitely want to say thank you and say goodnight before, any of my other things, went out. And if you ever need me and if I can test some records and come down and harass you and press all the buttons at the thing, I like learning. That's what I do. And if you got something new or you want me to take a listen to something, I'm willing to do that as well. You never know where your next hit record is going to come from. So
well, listen
to it all.
I'm ready. Look, I'll tell you, you know what? I'll tell you some exclusive stuff since we're talking about music. We are working on music Music Artists University. We're doing all the collaborating with a few different people to bring it to Philadelphia, where we're teaching artists all about the music business. Been in the music business a long time, so you may want to, give us your knowledge, teach a little bit, virtually. Of course, we know what's called, virtually. That would be amazing.
Would love to.
I can't sing, but I was about to sing amazing. He said, "No, sit down, sister. Sit down."
But thank you guys. I love to be a part of it. I like being a part of the young, new creative process. Again, too, it gives these younger people, and we're such in bad turmoil with gun violence and things of that nature. It gives these guys a chance to channel some of that energy and kind of direct it somewhere else in the creative nature, which we should be doing anyway. There should be more, people trying to just figure out, like, even if it's spare time, I went and I made this mug and it was beautiful and I put my hands in it and I created it and I made it with these hands, because these hands did it. A lot of people don't understand it, but you get it, which is important. So I like creating. That's the thing, whether it's art, whether it's music, whether it's fine cooking, dining, fat boy gotta eat and stuff like that. So, I like to eat.
Hey.
Hey. So thank you guys for having me. I didn't want to, close out the show and not come back and definitely say, have a good night and thank you.
Well, no, I appreciate it. I was just like, all right, I'm gonna keep on talking, but I appreciate you coming back. I understand you working on your phone all day. Believe me, my phone dies too. So I do understand. I do social media as my bread and butter. I do social media for different companies, and my phone dies a lot.
Oh my God! If you don't even understand, like, it's from the lawyer to the show to where's the record, when we shooting the video, is the movie ready yet? Did you talk to da-da-da? And then there's kids running around. So then you got that, regular day to day. So you try and do everything and make everything easy. So it's all up,
It is. But thank you so much for coming back. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending your time with us. If anybody in this world knows time, money, all of it means something. So your time means something.
Could you say that again? Could you say it again? Your time means something?
Time means something. So if somebody's giving you their time, it means something. So I appreciate your time. Billable hours is real, just so you know. Billable hours, every hour you take to do something, it costs. So if somebody's giving you the time, you gotta appreciate. So I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you for giving me your time. I appreciate you guys, and hopefully you'll have me back one of these days.
Of course. I'm telling you, I'm gonna tell you all about Music Artists University with the whole group of people. It's been in the works for a minute, and it's in its stage that's getting ready to launch. It's so amazing. I'm so excited about it. So, but this is the exclusive. Nobody even this y'all got the exclusive. Because listen, he said, let me know, and I'm gonna let you know. But anyway, y'all, we're gonna go now. Peace out to y'all. His phone must have died again. See me tomorrow. 30 interviews, 30 days. All right. Peace out.